Going on, guys? Welcome back to the Broad Street Boys. Me and Caleb back here again with another episode. We're doing straight Eagles, straight football. Uh, you know, today's Tuesday for us. So you'll see this on Wednesday. So all the wild card round has ended. Both of our teams are still in. Eagles looked fine against the Packers, and then the Commanders looked pretty good against the Bucks. That was a fun game. So we're gonna talk Eagles to begin with. Pretty much give our key takeaway from the game, and then our prediction for this next game, how we can win, how we could possibly lose, versus the Los Angeles Rams, which should be a fun game. And then after that, we're going to make our predictions for all four of the games, and just give our brief but pretty good analysis. We're going to try to keep it under 45 minutes because last time was an hour and 20 minutes, and we're going to keep it a little less than that. So yeah, so Caleb, Eagles Rams, and I thought I would be here with a happier smile on my face, but the game against the Packers wasn't exactly the greatest game as an Eagles fan. I'd love to hear your key takeaways from this Packers game because there were some good points, but then there were also some low lights. So take it away.
So I didn't watch a whole lot of the game, but
Yeah.
Hurts looked okay. I think that the very first touchdown they had where Keyshawn Nixon fumbled the ball in the return.
Yeah.
He had 10 seconds in the pocket to get rid of that ball.
Dude, the offensive line was ridiculous.
He had an absurd amount of time.
Yeah.
Going forward, obviously that's going to help him.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker, it was Dodson though.
I know, first touchdown of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was, huge for him. First touchdown in the playoffs.
Right.
But moving forward with Hurts, I don't the Rams, their defense is kind of sneaky.
No, it's solid. They're really young.
He's gonna have to be more decisive because I don't think he's gonna have as much time against the Rams as he did against the Packers.
Oh yeah, I agree.
The defense was incredible.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. Yeah, honestly, my takeaway was that I keep coming back to this one analogy. I want to hear your opinion on it, but it's almost like when a teacher goes on a vacation for 2 weeks and then they come back. That first day sucks. Let's be honest. Or if a student goes on vacation for 2 weeks, that first day sucks. You do it, and you probably do the bare minimum, if not a little more than the bare minimum, but you do it. But then you eventually get right back into your routine after the first 2 days. That's kind of what Jalen Hurts and I think the Eagles' approach was. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself, because I do have some concerns about some other stuff. See, Jalen Hurts for me, he wasn't. Was he amazing? No. But was he awful? He wasn't all. He it's not like he was fumbling or turning the ball over. He's Jalen Hurts. It's fine. And I could tell that he was a little hesitant after the first drive. I don't know if you noticed that too. He was definitely a little hesitant, which has to change. But I think after a full week of practice, where people are telling him that he's not going to play, and then he does play, I think after a full week of not that, I think he'll be better. What honestly concerned me more, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I felt like our play calling was really, how do I say this, bland? If that makes sense. I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of RPOs. It was just mainly, let's just run Saquon up the middle, halfback dive, or stand in the shotgun, give it to Saquon. There was no pitches. There was not many RPOs. There's not many slant routes, which is what the Eagles do a lot. If you notice that, and AJ Brown had 2 targets for 1 catch, and then Devontae Smith had 3 catches for 50 yards or something.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
But Goddard, it's funny. Goddard did well, and I thought. Listen, again, I thought Jalen Hurts did a pretty solid job on managing the game. That throw to Goddard, where Goddard stiff armed the guy 4 times. That was apparently a Jalen Hurts audible into a pass. So that's definitely something. But yeah, I'm gonna look for a little bit more improvement, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So
I was
we'll
gonna
see.
say,
Yeah, go ahead.
this next game facing the Rams defense, it's kind of, it's a test for him where, this could either bring back the narrative that Jalen Hurts is only good because he's trying to buy a bunch of weapons.
Exactly.
Or this is the game where he's I am a quarterback. I can make the plays. I can throw the ball. and not just depend on everyone else around me. Because I mean, so the past couple of games, that's kind of what it's been.
Mhm.
Like 22 Hertz, it seems like is
Oh my
gone.
gosh, I agree.
You, I mean, even like for you as an Eagles fan,
Yeah,
you want Hurts to get back to that and not depend so much on everyone else. And
yeah.
I think if they're going to beat the Rams, he's going to have to get back to being that creative and being that decisive playmaker that he was, and not just a game manager.
I honestly agree, and it's funny. It's not even like him as a game manager is a bad thing. Like I love that he's making audibles up at the line of scrimmage. I love that he's making a lot of the right decisions, and he's not really turning the ball over. So like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not complaining about that. It's just like you said, 2022 Hurts um was a different animal. Like if he stayed healthy for all of those games, I think he might be the MVP that year. Like that's how good he was. And I think not that he set himself up for failure, but it's almost like me and all of the Philadelphia fans want to see that version of Hurts every single time he goes out there, and whenever he doesn't, which is pretty often, we're disappointed. If that makes any sense. So like whenever I see like Jalen Hurts like 2 touchdowns and interception and like 250 yards, I'm like, damn, where'd the old Hurts go?
Well,
you know?
I think it'd be a little different too. Like if he showed a little bit more emotion, but when
Yeah,
he's just like going through the motions and going through the game,
yeah.
uh, it's kind of hard to tell like what he's thinking.
I agree. Um, but one thing I will say, and you mentioned this before, I thought the defense looked amazing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that I don't think anyone can like go against. Like Jordan Love looked lost. They played physical. They crushed this. So I'm gonna get into this later, but the physicality of the team is unmatched in my opinion. I don't think anyone other than the Lions have this type of physicality that we have. Which is why if they do beat the Commanders, and we beat the Rams, if that'd be a pretty fun game. Um, but I feel like it's the physicality on the defensive side that really crushed the Packers. Because I mean, of what you saw, you could back me up on this. I mean, I feel like every single play, like there was someone on the ground hurt or about to be hurt. And it's not because the Eagles players were trying to hurt them. It was just because they were just laying hits, just hit after hit
Mm-hmm.
after hit. Like, and that's just the motto of this team. And something that I said on my blog today was physicality is something that is not like you can't prepare for physicality as an opposing team. Like, what are you gonna do? Hit each other in practice? That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Physicality is embedded up in your brain and in how you're coached. Like especially in training camp, like if you're gonna start hitting during training camp, like that's how you set the physicality. If and I feel like that was kind of what allowed the Eagles to be so successful, and that's what allowed the Eagles to be so successful against the Packers, and especially against the Rams last time when Saquon had 302 total yards. What do you think about that? Because I think the physicality of the Eagles is something that I don't think many teams have.
Oh no, it's definitely going to help them moving forward. And
Yeah,
like the other thing you can do as an opposing player is as soon as you get the ball,
yeah,
expect a big hit, or even if like if the ball's near you,
right,
expect a couple of guys to be crashing down on you.
exactly.
But one thing that really helped the defense too was as soon as Dobbs went down, and
Yeah,
as soon as Reed went down, like knowing Love is just going to be like taking shots downfield,
yeah,
who Bond was what 25, 30 yards downfield, picked off the ball in the end
yeah,
zone.
something like that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like it got to a point where they knew exactly what Love was going to do.
Exactly. And something cool that I just remember this because you mentioned it, but that Bond play, Bond is so good. I think we can both agree on that. Bond is like
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I saw a thing like a real report that play, he wasn't even like that wasn't even his dude. He was just reading Jordan Love's eyes, and he saw his eyes on whoever that receiver was, and he just like floated and then just caught it and then ran. Like that
Yep.
was he was it's not like that was his zone. He was actually on the running back, and the running back went the other way, but he saw Love's eyes. He didn't even look at the running back, and then he just read it, grabbed it, touch or not touchdown, but interception. So, but keep going. Sorry.
Um, I'm excited for the Rams game because I think
Yeah.
going from Jordan Love and they have good receivers, but
Yeah.
not great. And
Mm-hmm.
then like when you go to Stafford, who, even though he's older, still
Mm-hmm.
elite. You got Puka Nakua, you got
Yeah.
Cooper Cup. I'm really excited to see that matchup, especially Cooper on Cooper.
Me too. Cooper on Cooper, white on white. Come on. That is one of the more exciting things I'm excited to see because Cooper Cup always lines up in the slot too, and that's where
Mm-hmm.
Tajin is. So that'll
Yep.
be fun. But yeah, let's kind of move on to the Rams game. I'm just gonna go first, and I'm just gonna say my opinion. I would love to hear yours, because mine's kind of unpopular. Um, I think that the Eagles win this game by 2 scores. Um, and I only believe this because the Rams are good. I'll give you that. Um, but did we really think the Vikings were for real? I first of all, before I say this, I did pick them to win last week. I think both of us did, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I don't really. I mean, I think I did just because they have 14 wins. Like, yeah, let's do it. So as I'm watching the absolute slaughter fest of last night, I looked at their record. Why did I not realize that they played the NFC South with the Bucks, Panthers, all of them, and the AFC South with the Titans, the Texans, the Jaguars. Like that's who that division played, and that was a lot of their wins. And they're like the best games that they've played in were against the Lions, and they lost both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is no knock on Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold is in like he's not in the category with Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts or like these upper middle level quarterbacks. Like obviously not elite, but the upper middle. He's more like Baker Mayfield or like Geno Smith. Sam Darnold's in that. Would you agree with that? Like I feel like he's in like the tier below it,
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely in the tier
right?
below.
Right.
I don't know if you put Baker in there.
I'm just trying to think of like older experienced. You know what I mean?
Um,
Like, but like it's like that type of
I
thing.
would put Stafford in there purely just
I,
because of age.
yes, yes. But it's funny. I would trust Stafford more than I would trust Darnold just because of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so something that I definitely took away from last week was I was watching the Rams game again like last night, and Stafford gets that ball out of his hands real quick. I mean, it doesn't matter how fast your guys are. He gets that ball out of his hands real quick. So if we play some sort of shallow concept on defense and then with guys over the top, I feel okay about it. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, you might disagree, but who knows? I feel like our offense is way better than their defense. Their defense is you said it earlier. They are like very sneaky and very good, and their front seven might be the most underrated front seven in the entire league. As they got 9 sacks last night, right? I mean, how can I, not say this? But at the same time, they're going against the best offensive line in the league, and they literally just went against one of the worst offensive lines in the entire league, especially in the playoffs. They're going against a quarterback that isn't an absolute statue in the pocket. Did you watch any of the game last night? Last night,
Yeah.
Sam Darnold stood in that pocket like a statue. What do you think? I mean, he just like
Well,
stood there.
so honestly, if I am the Rams, I am trying
Yeah,
to get Jalen Hurts out of the pocket
100%.
because if he's out of the pocket and passing, he
Yeah.
is statistically the worst quarterback in the league. If you get him out of the pocket and he starts running, that's where they're going to be in trouble.
And that's where I think that we might exploit them if they try to do that because they're not how do I say this? They're not like the Bucks. Todd Bowles has our number, and Todd Bowles throws like all these like weird blitzes at us, and it crushes Jalen Hurts every single time. I don't think their linebackers can compare to the Bucks with Levante David and I'm blanking out on the other two. Shaq Barrett who just came back. Like their linebackers, in my opinion, don't compare to them. And something else that I think need to be a thing, or our wide receivers need to be involved. Like that's a must. Jordan Whittington, no, Witherspoon on the Rams was banged up last game, and that's their number one corner. So if he's banged up, then AJ Brown has to go to work and stop reading books on the sideline. Like he needs to do something. He needs to do something more than a catch.
Do you think he
And
does that so that he's not like crashing out on anyone?
100%. People don't like it. I like it because I feel like if he didn't have that book, that he would freak out on everybody. And
It's
that
like
book,
he's got more self control because of it.
100%. And I listened to so Sirianni was on WIP today, and he was saying that he actually has that book at every single game. It's just this game was coincidentally, like they just caught him with the book. So I mean, with that entire thing, I'm not very concerned about it. But you know what I mean though. Like he needs to be more involved, whether that's in the screen game, whether that's in the slants, whether that's long. Like I don't care because Saquon Barkley's going to eat. And if they, my thing is if they just do exactly what they did last time, then Saquon Barkley's going to have 200 yards again. And like in my head, I'm trying to think of reasons why they wouldn't stop Saquon Barkley again. But think about it. Think about it. I already looked at the weather. The weather is going to be 38, raining, and possibly snowing. And one more thing before I let you cook, because I know you're going to agree and disagree in some spots, but I looked at the Rams record. So I'm going to bring it up again. So you play what, 17 games, I think, right? Or there's 17
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Take a guess on how many outside games there were. Take a guess.
Let's say 9,
4.
4.
4. You're telling me that you have 4. Think that's crazy. Is that not like that's a crazy amount of games? And the teams that they did play against. So I'm gonna read you their away schedule because obviously they're home in SoFi. The Lions, Dome. The Cardinals, Dome. The first outside game is the Bears. The Bears suck, and they lost to the Bears early on. The next outside game, which is the next away game, is Seattle, outside. New England, outside. New Orleans, inside. San Francisco, outside. Sorry, 5 games. The Jets, outside. And then the Seahawks again. And then every other game they're in SoFi. So that's something that I think we're going to take advantage of because there's pluses and minuses to having a super young defense. Pluses being, well, I guess this is as a plus, but they're super streaky. And like obviously you can go from having 9 sacks one game to all of a sudden letting up 302 yards to Saquon Barkley. There's pluses and minuses to having like a super young defense. And I feel like the conditions, the crowd, like I'm looking like they haven't seen a crowd like this super young team, or at least on defense, and I think it's gonna be a factor. But yeah, so let me hear your opinion. But I definitely think we're gonna win by 2 scores. That's my prediction.
So if you're talking about the team as a whole, yeah, that might hurt them there. 2 things with Stafford.
Yeah.
Being in the NFC North, it's been a little while, but he's kind of used to the cold, and a lot of those stadiums are outside.
Right.
So I don't know how much that's going to affect him. Overall, I think the Rams might win.
Do you? I would love to hear your reasons.
The last time you guys played the Rams, they were banged up. Kupp wasn't 100% healthy. That was Nakua's first game back.
Right.
Nakua did have a good game, but the whole team going into this game 100% healthy, I think is going to be a huge difference maker for LA.
Okay.
And the game plan too, I think they're gonna be blitz heavy.
Okay. Okay. I listen. Anyone that says that I can totally see it because of how the Eagles played last week. Like, there's nothing I can say. We looked like ass last week. I'll be honest. Like, it was not a fun game to watch. However, will they blitz Jalen Hurts? Yes, but statistically, they're the team that blitzes the least. And except last night, they did blitz a lot, but that's because the Lions exposed that the week before. So that's why I don't think they're going to blitz as much. Yeah.
So, well, the other thing too is I think McVay has a way to beat the O-line. Like whether it's blitz heavy with a quarterback spy or, hey, we're only going to send like 3 or 4 guys and then we're going to be zone heavy while double covering AJ Brown, or like, hey, we're going to have like this dude on Saquon at all times. Because right. I mean, like, not that it made a difference, but in the Bucs game, it got to a point where they had 2 linebackers doing a QB spy on Daniels.
Okay.
If it gets to a point where Hurts is running like that, or Saquon's always in the backfield, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if McVay's like, let's do that.
Again, I could totally see this because of how we played, and Jalen Hurts doesn't really pick up you know anything sometimes. Like sometimes he just does absolutely nothing. Um, but the only thing I will say that I disagree with you with is the fact that um, Cooper Kupp did play the last time we played them, and the only thing is like he so I bet on him, and I've been betting on him, and I've been losing. So he has literally got one target or two targets in every game for the past 4 weeks. And I think their inability to use Cooper Kupp is going to stab them in right in the ass. And the fact that they only use Puka and Quinion Mitchell, if I had to guess, is going to follow Puka. Um, and I trust in Darius Slay / Cooper DeJean, flying out there. Um, Something that I think is also going to be in the Eagles' favor is so I talked about the cold and then the physicality, but I think the physicality really comes in on offense as well. We're gonna run the shit out of the ball, and I believe that with a whole heart. After Saquon Barkley gets 302 yards total and 26 carries, if you don't run him at least 20 times, then there's an issue. Like you're not trying. Like this is now that desperation. Win or go home. You run your best player. And it's funny. The last time that they played, Hurts looked fine. He had I'm looking at the stats now. It was 180 yards and 15 completions and a touchdown, which I'll take. And AJ Brown killed it. If AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley have AJ had 109 yards and Saquon had 302 yards. If they do something like that, plus the crowd that's going to be going on, I just have a good feeling. But I don't know. We'll see. And something that's also come to mind is like they run the ball a lot, but for some reason like after watching the game, I felt like they didn't run the ball a whole lot yesterday. Was that a weird thing? I'm gonna look at those stats actually real
The
quick.
Rams,
Yeah,
because the Rams line, like if they were to run the ball a lot,
yeah,
they would get stuffed. They
yeah.
had a better chance against the secondary.
16 carries. Yeah, which is low for him because Kyron Williams. I saw a stat yesterday or today. He's 30 carries after Saquon and Derrick Henry. So for him to only get 16 carries last night is something interesting. And something that's also very odd to me is that offensive line of theirs. Not that it's fraudulent. It's just not. I feel like our D line is going to kill their offensive line. Because I mean I don't know if you saw, but Nolan Smith looked like a freaking stud with I think it was 2 sacks. Plus you're got the double Jalen Carter, which then takes a dude off of Josh Sweat. So those tackles are going to be forced to do something the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm also not trying to compare the last game too much because it was also week 11 I think, and the two teams are two totally different teams. And like you said, they had a few injuries the last time that we played each other. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited for the game though. I think it's going to be one of the better games.
Oh no, I think it is too.
Yeah.
I honestly think it should be a primetime game. Wait, isn't it?
It's at 3. I mean, the primetime games is the Commanders Lions and Buffalo Ravens, which is deservedly primetime.
All right, Buffalo Ravens makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think it's going to be a good game. I just think we're going to pull away in the fourth quarter. That's my only thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just my opinion. But okay. Do you want to run through all the games? The games are good.
Let's do it.
Okay. So on Saturday you got Texans Chiefs. Who do you got for that one?
I'm taking the Texans. I know they've been looking iffy. Dude, but think about like how many close games the Chiefs had where they barely won.
I know.
Like I think this is the game where it catches up to them and all that luck just runs out.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the Chiefs, but I totally see it. Like the Texans looked pretty good last week. I mean, they had a few. My only issue is I don't know how they're gonna look in Arrowhead. Like, and I've been saying this entire podcast, but a team that plays inside and then they play outside is almost a completely different team.
Hmm.
So and Kansas City, I'm assuming it's gonna be pretty cold. So that's the only thing. But I do agree. One of these games that's gonna catch up with the Chiefs, and I don't know what game it's gonna be. It could be this game. It could be next week against the Bills or the Ravens. But we'll see. But I do think the Chiefs, but I could definitely see the Texans. Okay, and then Commanders Lions. Who you got?
I'm gonna stick with the underdogs. I'm taking the Commanders.
Do it. Do it.
I think they'll win by a touchdown.
Okay. Can I have some reasons why?
Even even with all out blitzes, doesn't matter how good the defense is, he always finds a way to either gain yards or dump it off to Eckler or Ertz.
Right. And
And then also like last game especially, he started to take more shots.
he did.
And I mean, Terry showed up too. And the last 3 weeks, people were doubting like if McLaren was even a number one receiver because like he wasn't getting open as much.
Right.
Um, Part of it was I think they knew that they were going to be a playoff team.
Right.
Yes, the game against the Falcons was much closer than they wanted it to.
Tight.
Yeah, but I part of me thinks McLaren was kind of resting himself by not being completely there
Okay.
for the playoffs.
Which is a real thing too. People do that.
Mhm.
I'm convinced AJ Brown was doing that for the past 3 weeks. So it's a very real thing. Now I'm gonna take the Lions because it's the Lions.
By how much?
By 10. I think it's gonna be a game until the fourth quarter. That's what I honestly think. It's either gonna be a game until the fourth quarter or it's gonna be a blowout early. And I have no idea because I mean we've watched enough of the Lions. Lions either start really fast or they start so slow, and there's no in between. Um, Now I do think it's going to be interesting to see the pressure that's on the Lions because last year, like they were good, but there wasn't a whole lot of pressure. Like it was like their first time in the playoffs since I don't even, I forget when, but years and years and years. Um, and then like if they win, yay! But if they lose, like it's fine. This time they're the number one seed. They're expected to win. So I'm actually very interested to see the expectation factor of that. If that makes sense, I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
and then yeah, and then I just think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to kill it. I mean, I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is going to play. So I think they're going to crush it, and that duo is very different from Bucky Irving and Rashad White. Um,
I think they'll each have one big run,
yeah,
but I don't think it's going to be enough.
interesting. I love that you're taking your team now. I respect the hell out of it. I respect the
Well, I
hell out
mean,
of it.
because I thought they were going to get blown up by the Bucks,
Yeah,
and I think that is the best that the defense has looked all
mhm,
season.
yeah,
And if they can carry that into this game, I think that's going to really be the difference maker.
I agree. And I think it's gonna be closer than some people think. I don't know what the line is on it spread wise, but I think it's pretty big.
Yeah,
Okay. Then the next week we already picked. You think the Rams are gonna win, and I think the Eagles are gonna win. And then Ravens Bills. Who do you got for there?
Bills.
Me too. Okay. Let me hear it.
But I think Josh Allen's going to come out and put up 14 in the first quarter, and I think the Ravens. Well, do we know if Flowers is playing yet?
I don't know. Let me look it up. Keep
Because
keep
if
going.
they're relying purely on Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson to run,
Yeah,
I think that's gonna kill them. Like they're not gonna be able to get a
I
whole
agree.
lot done.
I
And
agree.
they tore apart Pittsburgh, but at the same time, like for the second half of the season, they were one of the worst teams.
Oh, by far. And not
So
even like the worst, like the most efficient, like inefficient.
and then also going from Pittsburgh defense to Buffalo defense, I I just think that the Bills have
Yeah.
like the advantages towards them.
I'm totally with you. I think the Bills are going to win. I just looked it up. It says Zay Flowers has a chance to play. But that was posted 8 hours ago, and that's the most recent thing I could see. And
Hmm.
I keep forgetting this, but it's a knee injury, and we know knee injuries could be who knows unpredictable. And he hasn't even touched the field yet. I
Yeah.
just thought of that as well. So we'll probably know more about Zay Flowers either tomorrow or on Thursday. But
Yep.
I do think I think this game's gonna be like the game of the year. I think this game is gonna be so good. So I'm really excited for it. Um, but yeah, so I'm going Bills. I think Josh Allen, Superman, as I like to call him, he's a stud. He's just so good, and that defense is super improved as well. So that's the game I'm most excited for outside the Eagles. So I can't wait to watch that. Um, but yeah, my AirPods are dying, so I think so I think we're just gonna log off. Are you cool with that? Like we're just gonna
Yes, sir.
30 minutes. I hope you could hear me. I can hear you out of one ear. But okay, we're good. I think we're good. Um,
All good.
so thank you all so much for listening to us today. I just posted a blog about this game, and it's what my opinion was. I didn't think that I thought me and you would have like a, oh, it'll be close type of thing, but the Eagles are gonna win. You just took the Rams. That's crazy, and I like it. I love different opinions, but the blog is why they're gonna win because I did it. So just a preference. But yeah, so check out all the blogs, check out everything. Everything's on the website that I put in all the bios. It's got our TikTok, which might be a thing next week, might
Yeah,
not
it's
be a thing.
gonna
Who knows?
probably will
If
be
I
gone.
if we move to like Red Note or whatever the hell it's called, then I'll let you all know. And then Twitter, all of that. So please hit us up on all the socials. We'll see you the next time we podcast, or that Eagles or Phils or Sixers or who knows. But we'll see you next time. And go Bills, go Birds, and go
Go Canadians,
Commanders. All
sir.
right, I'll see y'all later.